Any big plans?
When?
Big plans.
You mean
Like
for
tonight
after
or
Thanksgiving?
After Thanksgiving, the holidays, you get the whole weekend.
There's some shopping, right? It's very cold.
Well,
very,
it's
very
getting on
cold
winter,
in
Rob.
the
It's
Northeast.
supposed to be.
You know, it's oddly cold for Thanksgiving week, though. You know?
We're doing something unusual. We're going to a restaurant for the big meal, right?
Really?
I mean, yeah, it seems sacrilegious, but
No cleanup.
no cleanup. You got to tip like crazy.
Yeah. Is that part of the fun? Like like you go there, you don't have to clean up, you don't have to make it. Is that kind of?
You know, it's actually, look, my wife is at her wit's end. We have 2 young children.
Right.
She can't make another meal for more than our family, and there's going to be some other people there. So, yeah, we're trying the restaurant routine, and we will be tipping generously, at least 20%.
Yeah.
And I am looking forward to it. Happy Thanksgiving again, everybody.
Yeah, but the other thing, too, is, you know, when you do all this stuff, the problem is, especially like I have liberal in-laws, you are stuck there. If it's at your house, you just can't like Irish exit and go up to your bedroom. Like they're there forever, and you have to just be there throughout the duration.
I'm amazed that your liberal in-laws have survived this long.
Yeah.
In a house with you.
Well, they don't live with me, so that's or they live in
Even for
another
any
state.
period of time,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
They're just visiting. No, I say, look, Trump won a year ago. I say talk politics at Thanksgiving dinner. I say talk politics because if you can have that, not have that conversation with family and friends, people that you know and allegedly, supposedly, reportedly like and get along with, how are people in Washington supposed to do it? Have those conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my family, we all agree, though. We're all into it. I mean, thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, that must be tough.
Are
At least
they?
they're not biological relatives, right? I mean, you won't have to deal with them. No, I think it's very important. I mean, we have the same values. We have the same outlook. I know that doesn't always exist, and maybe that could be interesting, a little diversity of opinion. But I'm the king of my castle.
Yeah.
And MAGA goes.
And that restaurant.
And Trump wine bottles all over the table as soon as they walk in the door.
Yes. The 2020.
Lot to be thankful for, obviously. I mean, like, you know, I consider myself very blessed in this life. But one of the things, on a policy standpoint, thankful for is like the fact that our military right now, we have 15,000 troops, additional troops moving overseas in the next few weeks here during this whole time, during the holidays. We have hundreds of thousands of service members in various services all over the world that, you know, sacrifice these holidays. 9 years in, Greg, you were quite a few years in yourself.
Yeah, actually 9 active duty, about a dozen in the reserves.
Yeah.
So I think I'm like way senior to you, and I think I also outrank you.
Yeah. By your leave.
Carry on.
What rank do you outrank him?
Yeah, he was an officer.
05, right?
Yeah, they don't even let you wash the planes without a college degree, let alone fly them.
Wait, were you? What was your rank?
I was an E6.
E6, petty officer.
Yep,
such
first
and
class.
such. Well, listen, it all kind of kicks ass. Let's face it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We all got to kill bad guys, so it's a good thing. You too, Rob, right?
I can't answer that without my attorney here.
All right. Fair enough. I'd have to kill you. Yeah, right.
There you go.
No, but seriously, you know, recruiting in the military, and you know, I've gotten to spend a lot of time with Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War now, over the year, and really kind of understand what they're going through. One of the things I'm thankful for is like we are so back. Like recruiting numbers were so low, and I was really worried, like genuinely worried about the future of our military, and now we're over.
You guys are bros.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Totally.
my bro.
I forgot about that. Was that the parade?
Yeah, there was a parade.
Which, by the way, I want to defend the president with that parade. They wouldn't let him do it. The infrastructure in Washington doesn't allow for, like, what he wanted was what they do, literally, in Russia. And I don't think that's such a bad thing to show the world what we have.
But you know that parade was actually planned over 2 years before Trump took office. It just wasn't going to be on that road. It was going to be up by the Washington Monument on the backside of the monument.
Yeah, see, that would have been better, right?
Yeah, I don't know the difference.
Let him do it.
Hey, you know, look, everything he does, they try to give him a hard time for. So, and we know the truth, and it's freeing. You know what I mean? And it's actually a lot of fun to not have to hew to what the establishment wants us to think about him and everything else.
Yeah, that's a fair point. What are you thankful for, Rob?
This, Rob?
Not a trick question.
I had to think here for a second. You know, I mean, all the generic stuff, family, friends, life, still here, still breathing.
Mom, you're generic.
All right, but sincerely, come on, go deep, go deep.
I don't
Do
want
something
to.
policy like Carl did.
I don't like things, Greg.
I
You?
Should I just say I'm a Grinch?
My kids, my wife, my family.
Kids
I
are good things
To
to
your
be
point, I
thankful
feel very, very blessed. And I don't think, look, people, it's not corny to say something like that. Family and friends, that's what it's all about. For me, that is what it is all about. Of course, you know, this job is a huge blessing, and being able to work with you guys, Thanksgiving Day, by the way.
Oh, he's a little
Nothing
bit,
on that? Nothing?
he's a little bit put off.
Yeah.
And no, that's beautiful. And Rob, you too. You guys are superstars. You're 7 o'clock. The show is rocking. You too, Rob.
Thanks.
And Newsmax has a lot of faith in all of us, but particularly there, you guys, you've done very well. And the more the merrier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really.
Absolutely.
Rising tide.
Yeah, I love it.
Lastly, what are you thankful for?
Ooh, truly, beyond the obvious, family, friends. There are 3 things that I actually am really into. I thought about this, that President Trump is in office. This last year he was in court in Lower Manhattan. It didn't look possible, but I always said, it'll take a miracle for him to get in the White House. But miracles have a way of following President Trump.
Interesting.
I also am very thankful that the January 6 people have gotten their lives back. And, we got a whole hour to talk about it.
We do. All right, coming up this Thanksgiving, let's carve out a moment of real gratitude for the President of Peace, Donald Trump. We're going to dive into his accomplishments next. All right, welcome back. Happy Thanksgiving once again. Greg, I'm going to, just do something sketchy here and hand the wheel over to you.
Sketchy? Talk about sketchy. Whoa. No, listen.
You did fly Harriers, so that is not so sketchy.
I want your input. I want everybody, I want to go back to what I was saying before. President Trump in the White House is something to be thankful for. Every day it seems like, we're still battling and people are worried about the midterms and there's strife in Congress and, Mike Johnson, the little day-to-day stuff. Big picture, we're in.
Wait, I want to know what you were going to say about Mike
Johnson
Johnson. He's a little,
Look, Marjorie Taylor Greene just left Congress. She said a lot of stuff. There's a little bit of internal fighting, and that happens. But big picture, President Trump is president. A year ago, a little over a year ago, if Kamala Harris were president, I have a feeling we would not be sitting here right now. The country was saved by President Trump. I truly believe, and what he overcame, and sometimes God creates adversity, so he tests us. He can do things or have us react. I don't know. His ways are a mystery. Maybe he wanted to show President Trump a thing or two and us. And he also created circumstances that were so difficult, like, well, he's never going to get out of that one. And he got out of that one.
Teflon Don.
And the assassination attempt and all of it. And the grumbling that I do and we all do and you're supposed to, but big picture things are fantastic. I do believe. Yet we can't take our foot off the pedal. And another thing, the J6s are free. Ashley Babbitt's family has been compensated by the federal government. That was a wrongful death. Michael Byrd had no justification for pulling the trigger on Ashley Babbitt, who was not a deadly threat by any means. And you may know that her estate has been awarded approximately $5 million, which was totally appropriate and, in my opinion, necessary. Mm-hmm. And I'm also very happy that peace is suddenly on the agenda. I have to tell you, when the Ukraine war comes up, it's just not my passion.
No.
It's just not, and it hasn't been. And big countries have invaded small countries, and I know I want it over, and so does President Trump. And imagine that, peace is on the agenda, and it wasn't. This is going to just last and last and last, and it looks like we might have peace by the end of the year. We already have it in Gaza and Israel.
But on that, look, Trump, no doubt, Trump has done the unable to do, but eight peace deals so far, working on 9. I do want to bring some more domestic into it. We were rocking in the first 100 days, Doge and all these things, and they got the big beautiful bill tax cuts recently, and they did all this stuff. Trump has spent a lot of time focusing on that. I hope they can knock all that stuff out and get back and do just kind of America only for a little
Yeah, I think Election Day 3 weeks ago was a wake-up call for Republicans. Day before the election, Washington Post poll.
Yeah, but they're all blue
Jack
states.
Ciattarelli up by 1 point in the state of New Jersey. Mikey Sherrill wins by 13 points. If you include the 3 points for margin of error, that's like a 17-point swing. Republicans need to focus domestically for the next year. And honestly, I agree, but the average American, look, if he ends the war in Ukraine, in February, we'll be in calendar year number 5. That's 9 wars. That's unbelievable. When they do award the Nobel Peace Prize to somebody else, everyone will laugh that it's not going to Donald Trump.
Right.
That's how marginalized that organization
People just
has
won't
become.
get it anymore.
But I say that knowing that people, when you say, well, I ended a war in Azerbaijan, People can't find that on a map. People can't find Ukraine on a map 4 years after the war started. The White House does need to focus domestically. I think they will. I think the message has been received. Hopefully, this gives Republicans a chance heading into next November.
I can find Ukraine on a map. Finally.
Yes, yes. But can you find the Donbass region?
Yeah, Rob and I were there.
East, right?
You guys both went there. Yeah, no, look, I've had enough war in my life, having been to Iraq and Afghanistan, both as a journalist, flying over Iraq as a Marine. War is hell, as you know, but sometimes it's absolutely necessary, and bad things happen in war, and that's why it should be a last resort. Sometimes you got it, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah, I mean, and to be crass about it, like, we send our best men and women to war, unfortunately, and they're the ones who would end up not coming home. And especially on a holiday like Thanksgiving, it's a high price. The toughest, biggest, and baddest often go off to that conflict, just like World War II, World War I, everything else, and they're the ones who don't come home. So when we're considering those, we're considering the strongest members of our society.
It's interesting that of a president that is made to be so crass and just this billionaire that they say doesn't care about anybody is so intent on ending a war on the other side of the world.
Lots of them.
I mean, he clearly wanted to get us out of the obligation of paying for that war, but he also has a keen interest in ending a war that kills so many people. So many politicians couldn't care less about how many kids die in wars, especially other people.
And wars in the last century typically have begun with a Democrat in the Oval Office and ended with a Republican. Now, we're not batting 1,000, but you go back to World War I, FDR was in the Oval Office. You think about who ended the Second World War and who ended the Korean War and who was in office, LBJ, JFK maybe, for Vietnam, who ended it, Richard Nixon. Of course, that changed a little bit at the turn of the century, but it's very commonly what has been the case, and it'll be again in Ukraine.
It's only President Trump who I've heard actually genuinely grieve for the parents of war dead overseas.
Yeah.
He's been great for the Gold Star families, we know that. But to your point, Rob, I've never seen that before. And it's amazing how many stereotypes apply to President Trump that he defies.
And it's wild how easy it is for everybody covering these wars, everybody that's engaged in diplomacy for these wars, to just ignore thousands of people a week dying.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that just crazy? I mean, when you see these,
And
they were talking about having a negotiation, and Zelensky said something, I can't remember, I think it was the last time he came, but they were talking about coming in a couple of months. And I feel like somebody, administration or Trump, was just like, a couple months, like, let's go. Like, how many, I mean, think about how many thousands more people are going to die so that you don't have to come for a couple months because you have other,
I don't know why that doesn't resonate. When Donald Trump says, I want to
wild.
stop the death and stop the killing, it's like people are like, well, but we can send them more money and Ukraine can win. And I'm like, well, Russia's got nuclear weapons. Ukraine does not. Checkmate.
Yeah.
I think we're desensitized to war
Just
video.
pure number.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.